In terms of England's, rivals in this tournament, I think they're still favourites, even despite losing to Iceland. France drew with Canada, I think, as well. So also not looking great. How confident are you of England going one step further than last time and actually finally breaking the hex?
I'm not super confident, really. No, I'm not overly confident with it. Because I'm so aware that about tournament football isn't about the best team. I think what England have done really well in the last few tournaments is become consistent enough to feel like they're always going to be there or thereabouts. Yeah. And if you get in near the end stages, the luck might go for you, because you need that little bit of luck in a game, in a tournament, to win it. Now, I've got trophies sat in my cupboard that I won, and I look back on certain games and think, how did we win that game? There's moments in games. So I'm not convinced they're going to win it, mainly not because of just luck. I'm talking also from a personnel point of view. I think defensively we're still a little bit short. We can look vulnerable at times. And when you compare that to the French defence, some of their players are outstanding. I mean, even if you look at teams, I mean, the Portuguese have got some really good defensive options. And Holland, for example, Van der Ven, Virgil van Dijk, Ligt, Ake, Humphreys. I mean, if we were going to the Euros with Van Dijk and Van der Ven at centre half, I think we'd be pretty confident.
Yeah.
The difference in Holland is they don't have our forward players. But I think defensively we're a little bit vulnerable. So I'm not super confident, no. Although, of course, we've got a chance.
At the cost of Jack Grealish, though, perhaps? I mean, he's obviously going to be devastated. And other players in the squad were surprised at that decision. Did it come as a surprise to you, or did you see that coming?
A little bit of a surprise, only because he's got tournament experience and he's got big game experience playing in huge games for Manchester City, which the more pressurised game you've played in, the better. You can cope with it and you've got experience of it. But if you look at his numbers, they're nowhere near the other lads who've been picked ahead of him. And ultimately, if you play in the final third of the pitch, you need to be scoring and making goals. And we've cried for a long time about Gareth not picking players in form. The players in form are in the squad, and he should be applauded for that. I mean, the other thing is, if you break it down to personnel and ability, there's nothing really Grealish can do that Eze can't do.
Yeah, that's true.
Eze's physically brilliant, strong as an ox. You can't knock him off the ball. He goes past people similar to Jack Grealish, but his end product's better at the moment. So if you're looking at that and you're watching Eze and they're seeing him train, and we're not, of course, but if you look at the end of the season form, it's a no-brainer.
Yeah.
And I think at the back, that's going to be an interesting one, because the obvious choice would be Stones and Gahey. Stones has had a little problem with an injury. I really like Gahey. I think he's a terrific footballer, quick, can defend one-on-one. But I've got a feeling that Dunk might start, mainly because of Vlahovic and Mitrovic.
Oh, the height.
The physicality of those two is you're not going to come up against two as physically strong as those two.
Very true.
Dunk being 6'3", 6'4", set plays, very similar to Maguire in many ways in terms of his attributes, weaknesses. So I would think maybe Walker, Dunk, Gahey and Trippier will play left back by all accounts, because Shaw's not ready.